Hey guys, GameBars06 here. I'm bringing back with another video. I know it's been quite a while, but hey, what can I say? Unless I produce some other type of video outside of art that I can produce quite a lot easier, then this is just how it'll be. Speaking of art and animation, well, animation is a type of art, but speaking of, I've talked about Tan vs. Brown a plethora of times. I've mentioned it. I've given myself a due date. If I don't have the full 3 minutes of animation, because I plan on it being 3 minutes, if I don't have it done by August 6th, then I'm just gonna release it either then or August 7th. Whatever I have, and it'll potentially just be like a part 1 thing, or maybe I'll just have the fight finish in however much time like I have the animation, because obviously I haven't been working on it actively. I'm not, for those of you familiar with my animations, I made a dojo duel that was 2 minutes. It took me about a month to animate that, and I gave my opponent some time, and I animated the last part of it, which I planned more for it, but given the time constraint, I just wanted to finish it. So yeah, it took me about a month to animate 2 minutes, which means every week I animated 30 seconds, and back then I was animating at 24 FPS, which means I had to create even more frames than I do now, because I currently animate at 18 FPS, which, if you guys don't know what FPS, it's frames per second. That means a certain number, you have to make a certain number of frames in order to create 1 second of animation. So 18 FPS would mean 18 frames per second, which means 30 seconds would be 180, no, 10 seconds would be 180 frames, 30 seconds would be 540, which means 1 full minute would be 1080. That means 3 minutes would be 3240 frames. As of now, with stick nodes, I basically create a project every 540 frames, so each little project is 30 seconds roughly, give or take. I've so far created 1 full part, so I've created 30 seconds. Now I'm working on part 2, which I have 339 frames in. I was working on it a couple of days ago. So with that in mind, I have a bunch more frames to go. Still have a little less than 3,000 if I want to get the full 3 minutes. I'm giving myself until August 6th, like I said. Today is the day that recording this is Thursday, July 22nd, which means I'd have about 14 days. So 14 divided by 2,000. Actually, I can do the math right now. I'm just going to use a calculator because off the top of my head, I can't do that math. And if any of you expect me to do that, I don't know what's wrong with you. But yeah. So let's see. Roughly 2,900 frames divided by 14, because that's how many days left. That would mean per day I have to create 207 frames. However, when I was working on it a couple days ago, I spent a couple of hours, and I started at 314, I got to 339, so I worked on 25 frames, because I guess I'm slower than most, or I guess I just take more time into making sure every single part is okay, and that might just go to my lack of experience. Started animating a couple years ago, and I've spent most of the year drawing rather than animating, because I've been focused on the channel and just improving my own art so I can create Power Surge, because I want to wait until I'm at a certain point. Speaking of, I recently completed the reference sheet for Hontori Kete's little brother, Kiwamate Kete. If you guys want to see the video for that, I can do that. In fact, I might do that. That might be Saturday's video, we'll see. So, actually, let's get back to what I'm doing here. So, I've talked about how I've completely caught up to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, or I've talked about how I've started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. And if I've talked about finishing it, I might have also mentioned that part 4 is my favorite part, and Josuke Higashikata is my favorite character. I've also talked about the card game that I want to create, and that involves a multitude of different anime characters. This specific drawing is going to be for the first card. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, or you've seen me on in my Discord server or any other Discord server where I post my artwork, I've already created the first card, and for each card I'm gonna create a separate Google Doc. It's gonna be card info, so I'm gonna explain the full info for every single card, because obviously, given the card size, to explain every single move that a character can use on the card require extremely small text, to the point where I don't expect any normal individual to be able to read that text. Therefore, I'm just going to put the names of the moves, and if someone wants an explanation on any of it, they can simply just read the card info, and that's just if they're unfamiliar with the character, or even more broadly, whatever series that I'm doing. For example, for Josuke Higashikata, I put Shining Diamond and the different things he can do with Shining Diamond. A barrage, as in a barrage of punches, because that's a thing he can do. Healing, that's also a thing he can do. He can use his ability to correct destroyed matter in order to heal himself. Well, not heal himself, heal other people. He can't heal himself whatsoever. And hopefully, and for someone who's unfamiliar with the series, and if they try to use his ability to heal himself, then I guess I'll have to explain it to them that, yeah, Josuke can't use his ability on himself. It would actually be extremely overpowered if he can just heal himself with his own stand. Restoration, which means he can restore fractured energy and destroyed matter. He can also reform destroyed matter. He can reform destroyed matter into whatever he wants. For example, when he was fighting Yoshikage Kira, he reformed the ground into a wall to block Kira's bombs via Deadly Queen in combination with a stray cat who can shoot air bullets. So, and I figured out the best for the card, the best way to do this is to make 1920 by 10 in the images, which is the 16 by 9 ratio, which is how YouTube thumbnails work, or at least that's a standard ratio for YouTube thumbnails. So anytime you see a 16 by 9, it might be for the thumbnail. And if you guys remember the Kaba redraw and all the other redraws I've done in the Dragon Ball Super Broly art style, or any other style, I think the Dragon Ball Super Broly art style is the only one I've really done for redraw, in terms of redraw, like redrawn in said style. Those might be either main cards, and might be special edition cards. For example, the Kaba when he transforms to a Super Saiyan, and that might be a special edition card. However, I would also create Kaba in his natural state for everyone in their natural state. So and the leader card's going to be like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's going to be like portraits. So in other words, just drawing of one's face. That's going to be the differentiation between the leader card and also the background. Like, you won't have text or anything, it'll just be the face of the character. Whenever I make one of them, you'll see it here on YouTube, and then that'll just be the format I use for any singular leader card. So, I know I haven't talked much about JoJo's. Let me just put it like this. If I'm going to rank them 1 through 5, Diamond's Unbreakable, Stardust Crusaders, Battle Tendency, Phantom Blood, and Golden Wind. Golden Wind's art style is pretty good. Golden Wind and Diamonds Unbreakable, in terms of art style alone, I'd tie them. In terms of overall, I rank Golden Wind very 5 because I think the ending's very disappointing, especially considering it's episode 37. As soon as Golden Wind gets hit by the arrow, he just instantly claps Diavolo. His power isn't really explained. Like, not even the user, Giorno Giovanna, even knows how it works. Like, just no. And like, the biggest plot twist is that Diavolo tries to kill his own daughter. I'll try to go more into this in the next video. So for now, I'll see you guys then.